The twin suns of Ahch-To dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and violet. As Luke Skywalker meditated, the salt spray of the ocean a cool mist on his face. But his mind was not on the tranquility of the present. Instead, it drifted back to a familiar, sun-drenched courtyard, years ago, where a young Ben Solo, barely old enough to wield a training saber, had instinctively parried a strike with a force of will that startled even his legendary uncle. Luke had watched, a quiet awe mixed with a deep, almost parental pride swelling in his chest. This was his nephew, Han and Leia's son, and in him, Luke saw not just a prodigy, but a profound continuation of the Force, a vibrant, powerful connection that pulsed with untamed potential. It was in those early days that the unique, deeply layered dynamic between Luke Skywalker and Ben Solo began to truly form. Luke was not merely a Grand Master seeking to rebuild an ancient order. He was an uncle to a nephew he deeply loved, bound by blood, affection, and shared destiny. He saw the spark of greatness, the raw, immense power within Ben, and envisioned a future where this power would be a beacon for light, a cornerstone for the reborn Jedi Order. Yet this vision, noble as it was, carried an inherent conflict. Luke's commitment to re-establishing the Jedi Order's teachings, lessons he himself had wrestled with and ultimately embraced, compelled him to instill a profound sense of detachment and discipline in Ben. The old Jedi ways emphasized control, emotional restraint, and a clear-eyed focus on the larger good, often at the expense of personal attachments. This philosophy, while essential for a Jedi Master, frequently clashed with the burgeoning familial bond between uncle and nephew. Imagine the quiet hours they spent together, far from the clamor of the New Republic. Luke guided Ben through ancient Jedi texts, their fingers tracing worn pages depicting forgotten star charts and complex Force techniques. He taught Ben to channel and control his immense, often volatile, raw power, helping him to shape it, refine it, rather than letting it consume him. There were moments of profound connection, shared laughter over a clumsy training mishap, or silent understanding as they observed the movements of the Force in the natural world around them. Luke poured his accumulated wisdom into Ben, not just as a teacher, but as a guardian, a mentor, hoping to equip him with the tools to navigate the vast, often treacherous currents of the Force. Luke saw Ben as his most prized student, his finest creation in the long journey of rebuilding the Jedi. He placed all his hopes for the future of the Jedi upon his young shoulders. It was a staggering weight, a responsibility that echoed Luke's own burden as the last Jedi Master. He believed in Ben with an unwavering faith, perhaps even to a fault, investing every ounce of his remaining optimism in this young man, who was a bridge between the old galaxy and the new, between the legacy of the Skywalkers and the potential of a revived Jedi. But this profound hope, this immense expectation, was a heavy burden that would ultimately prove too much for them both to bear. The tension between the impersonal demands of the Jedi Code and the deep personal affection of an uncle for his nephew became a silent, simmering pressure. Could Luke truly ask Ben to detach from the powerful emotions that surged within him? Emotions that were intrinsically tied to his family's complex legacy? Could Ben, with his heritage and the whispers of the dark side always at the periphery, truly compartmentalize his heart for the sake of the Code? The tragic culmination of this internal struggle, that fateful night, serves as a stark reminder of the delicate balance between instruction and understanding, between discipline and empathy. Luke's choice, born of fear and a desperate desire to protect, shattered the trust that was the bedrock of their relationship. The hopes he had so carefully placed on Ben's shoulders did not simply crumble, they exploded outwards, creating the very catastrophe he had sought to prevent. In the end, Luke's journey with Ben wasn't just about teaching the Force. It was a profound, heartbreaking lesson about the weight of expectation, the fragility of trust, and the eternal clash between the head and the heart. It leaves us with a quiet reflection. What is the true cost of trying to mold another to fit our highest hopes, especially when those hopes are so intrinsically tied to our own past and the future we envision? We invite you to consider this profound relationship. What are your thoughts on Luke's approach to Ben's training and the difficult choices he faced? Share your insights and reflections in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this thoughtful dive into Star Wars lore, please consider subscribing for more stories and discussions. Until next time, may the Force be with you.